Do you think sometimes some people try to get too crazy with your wrestling? Like you said,
Absolutely.
you have 5 matches, and that's what works?
That's it. First of all, it's too long. People get tired.
Yeah.
Second of all, and I don't want anybody to start stealing my stuff, but if you go to a traditional show, what do you got? First match, good guy, bad guy, right? What's your second match? Good guy, bad guy. What's your third match? You got it. What's your fourth match? Yeah, you got it. And not only that, now don't get me wrong here, but not only that, but you've got 10 wrestlers that nobody has ever heard of. So what the hell are they selling? Wrestling is tough to sell if you don't have a product. You got to have something, learn them. But the more silly stuff and fun stuff is way, way ahead of trying to convince these people that I'm going to go out and kill them. Everybody in the world of wrestling knows you're not going to go out and kill them. So why even be so stupid? Just go and have a fun show and get it over with.
Blue Guy, he wants to know, what do you think of the cruiserweights of today? All the high flyers and everything.
I don't think there is any, is there? I think that I think it's kind of a beaten thing because Vince has changed the business to all these humongous big guy wrestlers, okay? And the Guerreros are getting older now, and guys that are a little bit smaller that can really, really do the stuff aren't being taught right. You have to teach a guy who wrestles high-flying drop kicks, hip tosses, leapfrog, that kind of stuff. The guy that comes off the top rope with a body press, he has to be taught different than Hulk Hogan. He has to be taught different than The Undertaker because that has to be their style. Their style has to be up and let's get going. And if you don't have young guys, to go around and teach them and show them, and I think it's kind of a dying thing, unless Vince gets a couple of guys, 3, 4, half a dozen guys, and say, hey, whoever knows how to do this stuff, then let's, get out here and, a couple days a week and teach them how to do the proper crap, and then I guess it would be fine. But at the moment, I don't think there's that many really, really small guys, is there?
Not in WWE right now.
Yeah, just Rey Mysterio, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. What's he going to do, wrestle himself?
They always put him up against the monster, and it never really seems to work.
Yeah, well, that's it, I've got a couple of I got a kid here. He goes 190 pounds. You'll see him on my tape. We call him the Lover Kid, Eric Lockhart. Got to take a look at him if he's under someplace. He's great, but he's 190 pounds. That's the problem. He was 220 pounds. He can jump off the top rope. He can do somersaults. He can do flips. He can stand on his head. He can do all of that stuff. Great arm drags. All of it. He does it all. He was trained by Greg Gagne, by the way. And so for that reason, he is great. But he's 190 pounds. So that's too bad. But I use him as often as I can because the girls like him. Because I'm not that way, but the girls like him. So he's cute. So for me, like I told you earlier, anybody that sells tickets and they want to work, if they have a secret how to sell the tickets, they will work for Rock and Roll Buck Sumo.
We had Greg Gagne on. He's a really good interview. What were your thoughts of working with him?
I don't. For all them years that I had to kiss their backside because I used to work for him.
Yeah, I was going to ask, since he's the boss's son, did you have to treat him differently?
No. Well, this is what's funny about it. Now he works for me.
Oh, okay.
That's just a joke. Yes and no. Greg Gagne has two personalities, and you can't blame him because my daughter goes through the same thing now. The girls sit in the locker room. They don't really talk to her. They're kind of like scared of her. All my guys are scared of me. Nobody talks to me because I don't know why. But anyway, Greg and my daughter are almost identical. Nobody talks to her. Nobody fools around. Nobody does nothing except now the show is over and everybody had a couple of drinks and then everybody is mellowed out and then they go sing karaoke together and they're all buddies. Now, when I was in the locker room, Vern would come in. It quit grabbing your rear end and kicking you and having all these like little high school kids in the locker. That would all come to a halt, okay? But when I was with Las Vegas and Greg and I, we were the best friends because we got one thing in common, and we both love to throw dice.
Oh, okay. Craps table.
Yes, and you got to remember, that's Greg, and I'm Buck Zumhofe, so I would put, you know how to throw dice? You know what craps are?
Yeah.
Okay, 27 across. You know what that is?
No, I'm not that familiar.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter. You're putting like a lousy $3 bet, like on every number, okay?
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm talking $3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hell, Greg, he'd put down $20, $30, or $50 on each number. So every time I throw the number, I'd make $3, he'd make 50.
Right.
So but he used to love me, man. I'd throw the dice, and he'd make money. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't mean it bad. We did. I like Greg. Greg likes to sing karaoke. I mean, he did. He's old now, but he liked to party and gamble, and he was a regular old Joe, except when it came to business. When business had to be, but now I see it. When I'm in the locker room, I have ideas of how my show is supposed to run. I have ideas how long it has to go. I know it. I have what kind of crowd I have and what it's got to be, and I don't screw around. I don't do any of that until the show is over. Money's in the hand. Okay, let's party.
Yeah.
So I see it different now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Were you surprised when WWE put Vern Gagne in their Hall of Fame, and were you surprised that he accepted it?
Well, don't you think that if Vince wouldn't have did it what he did, somebody would have, right?
Yeah. When we had Greg on, he pretty much kind of said, like, and they gave him a job there is pretty much to get the rights to the AWA footage.
Yeah, something.
Just right after they got it, I think they fired Greg.
Right. Like I said before, Vince is in it for himself,
mm-hmm.
and he did whatever he had to do to please them, which was give Vern the thing, I suppose, and hire Greg to make everybody happy, smooth it all over, and then once the deal was done, our business is a lot like the street business or something. You use somebody, and did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right. We use you. Okay, we got Buck Zumhofe. He's 23 years old. He's got the look. He can do all of this and that. We've had him here for 7 or 8 years. Well, in real life, now he's washed up. We got another Buck Zumhofe, just like him, young, handsome. So I'm the same way. I apologize. I use somebody for a year or two or something. I can't keep bringing the same guys to the same show year after year after year. You gotta keep it rolling, and sometimes that's a horrible thing. But if that guy was on top for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and he doesn't have any money, and he didn't take care of himself, well, it's not the promoter's fault. It's the jerk himself. So there you go. He knew one day the end was going to come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I also want to get real quick because he was part of the AWA for a long time, and to me, he's the best at what he did. Was Mean Gene Okerlund? Was he fun to be on TV with?
I love Mean Gene. You're going to like this story.
Yeah.
We wrestle every year at McGrath, Minnesota. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gene does not have he doesn't have a cabin on that lake, but he has a cabin dead across from the lake where we wrestle at once a year at this cabin where all these people party.
Mm-hmm.
So every summer when we wrestle there, they got a little bar there and a little outside stadium type thing, softball field. We put up our ring and all of that. And Gene always comes across on his boat, and he, shakes our hands and bullshits everybody. So we usually get to see him once a year for the whole entire day, and we party pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene, matter of fact, Gene started in AWA the same year I did.
Oh.
Yeah, 1975.
Yeah. We talked about him before we started, and a lot of people have different stories about him. Do you have any stories with the Iron Sheik?
Iron Sheik, which one is that?
That's
the toes?
Yeah.
I love him, but he's crazy.
Right.
And don't cross him.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. He's like 60. He's like Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time when he could handle himself with, I'd say, 5 or 6 guys by himself. I mean, honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I still wouldn't cross him because he'd tear you. I mean, because he's crazy, he'd tear you apart.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know any stories? Yeah. I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was kind of half on top, or whatever you want to call it back then. So all of a sudden, I heard they were going to bring in a couple of new heels from Portland, and he was one of them. I wrestled him every night for about 2 weeks, and I was so sore and so beat up, and so I couldn't hardly even move and stuff. And then, thank God, I don't know what happened, but either he got mad at the promotion or he got another offer. And like the following Monday, we were supposed to do television at the P&E Gardens in Vancouver, and he didn't show up. I was so happy, tears came out of my eyes.
He was our shortest interview ever. But,
I bet. See, he trained us,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was working for Vern Gagne at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So to give him a little extra income, Vern made him run our camp. And that's why we did all that crazy stuff. He was preparing us for the Olympics or something. He literally beat the hell out of us. That's not even a joke. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally. Get a hold of Ricky Steamboat. He'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. And, so a lot of people now, if they just know him, as a crazy guy, does crazy stuff. But back in his prime, he really was an awesome wrestler.
In his prime, there wasn't a man alive that could beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking Hulk Hogan or anybody.
Yeah. You know anything about the rumor that Vern was going to pay him $100 or $10,000 or something to break Hogan's leg in WWE? WWF?
I heard it's bullshit.
Yeah. That's what Greg told us, too.
Well, now that you brought that up, that kind of talk, which is silly, it's more silly talk. Well, when Vince decided to do the WWE, nobody tried to say it in a nice way. Nobody tried to prevent that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was unusual.
Yeah.
That I'm talking how long they've been in business? 25 years?
Yeah. Well,
but, I mean, nobody.
Longer than that, yeah.
We never heard any rumors like, hey, somebody's going to take care of Vince, so they don't, I'm just talking. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But that's the same story with Vern. I mean, you hear such cockeyed stuff. There ain't nobody going to do nobody to nothing.
I know actually Jim Ross says he overheard some kind of conversation in a bathroom or something where it was like promoters were talking about actually killing Vince McMahon.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But I don't think that if it really, really happened, it's just bullshit talk.
Yeah.
Talk is cheap.
All right. But what's not cheap is you go to rockandrollwrestling.com and you can check out all the places. You can see Buck Zumhofe, and you can see his daughter, the Virgin Heather Zumhofe, and you can see all the midgets and the midget women, and you can see 7-foot-tall people. You have a lot of fun going and seeing all the shows. Anything you'd like to tell everybody out there before I let you go?
I'm eating supper, so I always make a joke out of it. Mm-hmm. When the day comes where I cannot actually get into the ring, I will probably promote or referee or sell T-shirts. I will never quit. Mm-hmm. Never. One of these years, I'm going to go down to Las Vegas. They invited me to put me in that Hall of Fame.
The Cauliflower Alley Club?
Yeah. I haven't done that yet because I'm still wrestling. I figure maybe when I'm, maybe in the next couple of years, if that still exists, I don't know. I'm willing to wrestle anywhere or anybody if they got the money. I'm not that expensive. So if anybody's listening out there that promotes, my daughter, the Virgin, is the one that you promoters out there or anywhere should be the ones that should be promoting her. She's young. She's pretty. She's smart. She's not some old buck like me. But anyway, I guess the last thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to be around forever. Autographs or whatever, I still wrestle yet. My daughter is lovely. You'll see her on the internet. If you even want to have our whole entire show, we'll bring the whole damn show out there. Midget, girls, guys. This is a horrible thing to say, but if the money is right, we will dance.
Excellent, man. Really appreciate you coming on tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. Want to do it again?
Yeah,
you got somebody that's mad at me? I don't care. Have them just look. They can call me and bitch all they want. I just won't pick up the phone.